Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime, back for another video, and today we're going to be reviewing the Doom Eternal, Doom Marauder. So yeah, let's just get right on into the Marauder review by starting with the packaging. This isn't actually the Marauder's packaging, this is for a different figure that I'm going to be taking a look at later, but here is a picture of what the original box looked like. So, since he doesn't have a box, let's just get right on into the accessories. Just briefly going over the Marauder's accessories, he comes with a little black base right here with the Doom logo, and it has a little peg right there for him to stand on. And then it comes with his axe blade right here, and I love the red plastic with that engraved writing all over it, kind of similar to the Crucible. And I love this bronzish, kind of almost dark gray, kind of bronze color going all throughout this with all the nice molding and sculpting with the skulls and everything. Very nice. Kind of reminiscent of like Ghost Rider stuff. And speaking of bronze, for some reason there's another version of this Marauder figure that comes in bronze. Who in the right mind wanted that figure? I mean, seriously. But anyway, that is really it for the accessories. And here's looking at the Doom Marauder, and my goodness, does the molding and sculpting on this head sculpt and all over the whole body look amazing. Now, it totally makes sense considering that McFarlane Toys is, their knack is for doing Spawn figures, and Spawn figures are usually a bunch of demon related characters, so it makes sense that this would be right up their alley to make. And oh my goodness, there's something about this guy that he has over the Doomslayer when it comes to both his molding, sculpting, and also his articulation. But focusing on the molding and painting first. Again, just like in the last McFarlane Toys review that I did, I mentioned how on that Warhammer Orc figure, the painting and sculpting is really good, and McFarlane Toys has a real knack for it. And this is another great example of that talent of the actual paint work. Some of this even looks like it was custom done. There's a bunch of dry brushing and all this textured detail, and just look at all these the disgusting skin and just all these different armored bits with that subtle dry brushing of both silver and black and brown dry brushing. And again, all these logos and symbols and even details like the skulls right here on the side are all painted very nicely. And I just really love how the skin texturing and everything came out on this guy. He's just really intimidating, and he is one of the most show-stopping figures in my McFarlane Toys collection. Like I said before, this guy also really shines in his articulation, because I mentioned before in some of those Doomslayer reviews that the Doomslayer figures were not all that posable, but this guy actually changes that. His head can't really look up all that far, but you can use that abdomen arching back to make him look up, but he can look down, he can look from side to side. Also, be careful not to bend these horns, even though it's really durable plastic. I don't want to risk breaking them. But yeah, as I mentioned, head swiveling. The shoulder pads are on ball joints, so they can shift and move out of your way to accommodate for the arms moving outward. They can move down, they can rotate forward and back. He does get an elbow swivel, not bicep swivel, elbow swivel. He gets a bend at the elbow, which bends at 90 degrees. And then he does get that abdomen joint, like I mentioned, which has an arcing back, crunch, diaphragm, pivot, a waist swivel, and then the wrists can rotate and can hinge up and down, as you can see. And then his hips, even though with the side skirts right here, even though I do feel like these could possibly rip, his legs can kick forward that far, they can kick back that far, they can move outward pretty far. He does have a limited thigh swivel. He also has a knee swivel, bend at the knee, and then the ankles are on ball joints, which can allow them to move up and down and have a much deeper pivot than the Doomslayer had. This guy really is quite the horny devil. No, not that kind. And now getting into size comparisons. Here is the Marauder compared next to the last McFarlane Toys figure I reviewed, the Orc Meganob from Warhammer 40k. And then here's the Marauder with the last two Doom figures that I took a look at, the Doomslayer Phobos version and the Doomicorn. So that's it for comparisons. And that is basically it for my brief review on the McFarlane Toys Doom Marauder. And yeah, I really do love the Marauder very much. Sadly, I didn't have another Doom figure to have a double review with him, but I am really happy about this figure because this has got to be one of my favorite McFarlane toys. McFarlane toys of this year. Obviously, this guy didn't come out this year, but holy crap, did I really miss out on this guy. I am really happy that I got this guy, even if I just got him used off eBay out of the package. I'm still really happy with how this guy turned out, and I'm glad that I still picked him up. Everything about him is pitch perfect. The only thing he fell flat on was the articulation, but even then, it's that much little bit better than the Doomslayer, because again, this figure came out a little bit later than the Doomslayer, so they had a little bit more time to kind of put more work into the articulation and design, where the Doomslayer has more of that earlier McFarlane Toys kind of posability. But my goodness, I just love this figure a lot, and I can't emphasize enough. If I had to give this figure a rating, I give him a solid 9 out of 10. He's just barely there from a 10 out of 10. But other than that, love this figure. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you enjoyed the review, be sure to give a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified of new reviews. And with boiling blood, he scoured the internet plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him, and those that taste the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer. Briximus Pride.